Samuel Hopkins, a name now largely lost to the currents of time, stands as a silent giant, a pioneer whose contributions to the burgeoning American industrial landscape deserve far greater recognition. His life, though shrouded in the mists of history, offers a poignant glimpse into the struggles and triumphs of early American inventors, a testament to the grit and determination required to navigate the uncharted waters of innovation in a newly formed nation. His patent, granted on July 31, 1790, for a machine to produce potash and pearl ash, wasn't merely a technological advancement. It was a symbolic act, the first domino in a cascade of innovation that would reshape the American landscape. Before we delve into the specifics of Hopkins's invention, it's crucial to understand the context of his life. The United States in 1790 was a nation still finding its footing. The echoes of the Revolutionary War still resonated, and the nascent economy was fragile and volatile. Opportunities were scarce, and the path for an inventor was far from clear. Unlike the modern era, with its established venture capital firms and streamlined patent processes, Hopkins faced a landscape barren of institutional support. He was a lone wolf, navigating a challenging terrain where success hinged not just on ingenuity, but also on resilience, resourcefulness, and sheer willpower. Little is known about Hopkins's early life. Existing records offer scant details about his education, family background, or the formative experiences that shaped his inventive spirit. It is, however, plausible to assume he possessed a keen understanding of chemistry and mechanics, a prerequisite for designing a machine capable of producing potash and pearl ash. These substances were far from trivial. They were essential ingredients in the production of soap and glass, industries crucial to the burgeoning American economy. The demand for these materials was steadily increasing, yet the methods for their production were largely rudimentary and inefficient. Hopkins recognized this gap, this opportunity to improve upon existing processes, and he dedicated himself to finding a solution. His invention, a machine designed to automate the process of potash and pearl ash production, represented a significant leap forward. Prior to Hopkins's invention, the creation of these materials was a labor-intensive process, often involving the burning of large quantities of wood in rudimentary furnaces. This method was not only inefficient but also wasteful, consuming vast quantities of timber resources. Hopkins' machine, however, aimed to streamline the process, enhancing efficiency and reducing waste. While the exact details of his machine's design remain elusive due to limited surviving documentation, it likely involved a more controlled burning process, perhaps incorporating improved combustion techniques or mechanical systems for handling materials. The process of obtaining a patent in 1790 was far more arduous than it is today. There was no online portal, no easily navigable website. Hopkins had to personally submit his application to the patent office in Philadelphia, a journey that must have been both physically and financially demanding, particularly given the limitations in transportation infrastructure at the time. He had to meticulously document his invention, providing detailed drawings and explanations of its workings. This meticulousness was crucial, as the patent office's standards were still in their infancy, and the acceptance of his application relied on the clarity and thoroughness of his documentation. Securing funding for the development and production of his machine presented another significant challenge. The absence of formal venture capital mechanisms meant Hopkins had to rely on his own resources, possibly supplemented by loans or investments from friends or family. This financial precariousness underlines the courage and risk-taking inherent in his endeavor. The potential rewards were substantial, but the path to achieving them was fraught with the possibility of financial ruin. Even after receiving his patent, Hopkins's journey was far from over. He now faced the challenges of manufacturing, marketing, and distributing his invention. Establishing a production facility, sourcing materials, hiring skilled laborers, all of these were significant obstacles. The limited industrial capabilities of the time meant that manufacturing his machine would have required meticulous craftsmanship, potentially involving extensive collaboration with skilled artisans. He then had to convince potential customers, soap and glass manufacturers, of the machine's superiority, showcasing its efficiency and its economic benefits. In essence, He had to not only invent but also market and sell his creation. The success of Hopkins's invention is largely unknown. While the patent itself represents a remarkable achievement, its subsequent impact on the American economy is not thoroughly documented. Did his machine achieve widespread adoption? Did it significantly influence the production methods in the soap and glass industries? These remain open questions, requiring further historical research to uncover the full extent of his contribution. Regardless of the ultimate commercial success of his machine, Samuel Hopkins' story remains profoundly significant. His patent, the very first issued under the U.S. Patent Act of 1790, serves as a potent symbol of American ingenuity and the pioneering spirit of early inventors. His struggles, his perseverance, his unwavering belief in his invention, these are qualities that resonate across time, inspiring future generations of innovators. He represents the human face of technological advancement, a reminder that behind every technological breakthrough lies the human story of hard work, dedication, and unwavering determination. His story highlights the significance of the Patent Act itself, a piece of legislation that, despite its imperfections, laid the foundation for a culture of innovation that would transform the United States into a global leader in technology. His legacy is not solely defined by the commercial success or failure of his machine, but by his role as a pivotal figure in the unfolding American story of invention, a story yet fully told. His life serves as a compelling illustration of the early struggles and eventual triumphs that built the bedrock of American technological advancement. The quiet revolution of ingenuity, begun with his patent, continues to this day, a testament to the enduring spirit of invention at the heart of the American experience. The echoes of his achievement resonate through the centuries, a silent but powerful reminder of the importance of protecting and nurturing innovative minds. The story of Samuel Hopkins, while poignant in its obscurity, provides only a glimpse into the broader landscape of early American invention. His struggles, though significant, were far from unique. The nascent years of the United States witnessed a surge of inventive spirit, a bubbling cauldron of ingenuity fueled by necessity and ambition. Yet, the path for these pioneering inventors was rarely smooth. It was more often a treacherous climb fraught with obstacles both practical and societal. Consider, for instance, the plight of Eli Whitney, a name far more familiar than Hopkins. His invention of the cotton gin in 1793 revolutionized the cotton industry, catapulting the South into an era of unprecedented cotton production. Yet, the road to this revolutionary success was paved with frustration and legal battles. While the cotton gin dramatically increased efficiency, it also inadvertently strengthened the institution of slavery, a grim irony that haunted Whitney throughout his life. The demand for his invention was immense, creating a lucrative market, but also attracting countless imitators who infringed upon his patents, leading to years of expensive and ultimately exhausting litigation. Whitney's story highlights the inherent vulnerability of inventors, even when their creations achieved widespread success. The legal framework for protecting intellectual property was still in its formative stages, leaving inventors at the mercy of unscrupulous competitors and a slow, often ineffective judicial system. Beyond the legal challenges, Whitney faced significant manufacturing hurdles. The precision engineering required for his cotton gin was beyond the capabilities of many workshops at the time. He struggled to establish a reliable and efficient manufacturing process, further hindering his ability to meet the overwhelming demand for his invention. The lack of readily available skilled labor and sophisticated manufacturing techniques added to the complexity of his enterprise. This highlights a common problem faced by early American inventors: the significant gap between the conceptualization of an invention and its successful mass production. The story of Robert Fulton, another prominent figure in early American innovation, echoes these struggles. While his steamboat, the Clermont, launched in 1807, marked a pivotal moment in the history of transportation, his path to success was far from straightforward. He faced skepticism from investors, ridicule from critics, and the considerable engineering challenges of building and operating a reliable steamboat. The very concept of steam-powered navigation was considered by many to be a fool's errand. Fulton, however, persevered, securing funding through a combination of personal investment and government support, ultimately proving the viability of his invention and transforming river travel. His story, though ultimately one of triumph, underscores the significant risks and financial hurdles faced by inventors, even those with substantial political connections. The struggles faced by these inventors weren't solely economic or technological. They were also deeply intertwined with societal factors. Access to education and resources was often limited, particularly for those from less privileged backgrounds. Many early inventors were self-taught, relying on their own curiosity and perseverance to master the necessary skills and knowledge. This lack of formal training often meant that inventors had to navigate complex scientific and engineering principles with limited guidance, increasing the challenges they faced. Furthermore, societal attitudes towards innovation played a significant role. The early American Republic, though brimming with a spirit of independence and progress, was also a society characterized by skepticism and resistance to new ideas. Many people were resistant to adopting new technologies, fearing job displacement or simply distrusting innovations that deviated from established practices. This resistance could significantly hamper an inventor's ability to market and sell their creations, even if they were technically sound and efficient. Take, for example, the challenges faced by inventors in the agricultural sector. While improvements in farming equipment were crucial to the nation's development, many farmers were reluctant to abandon traditional methods, even when faced with more efficient alternatives. This resistance stemmed from a mixture of factors, including a lack of familiarity with new technologies, financial constraints preventing the purchase of expensive equipment, and a deep-seated conservatism resistant to change. Inventors had to overcome this inertia, often through painstaking demonstrations and persuasive marketing, to convince farmers of the benefits of their inventions. The stories of these early American inventors, from the relatively obscure Samuel Hopkins to the more well-known figures like Whitney and Fulton, weave a rich tapestry of human endeavor, ingenuity, and struggle. Their experiences provide a compelling counterpoint to the romanticized narratives of invention, revealing the often arduous path to innovation. It wasn't merely a matter of a brilliant mind conceiving a groundbreaking invention. It was a complex interplay of creativity, perseverance, financial acumen, legal maneuvering, and the ability to overcome societal resistance. These pioneers laid the foundation for future generations of innovators, their struggles forging the path for the technological advancements that would shape the United States into the industrial powerhouse it would become. The lack of established support structures for inventors further exacerbated their challenges. There were no government-funded research labs, no venture capital firms to provide financial backing, and no well-defined patent system that guaranteed immediate protection. Inventors often had to rely on their personal resources, loans from friends and family, or the goodwill of investors who might or might not understand the potential of their creations. This dependence on personal networks and the vagaries of the marketplace created a precarious environment for innovation, often leading to financial ruin even when an invention was ultimately successful. The absence of a robust infrastructure for manufacturing also presented significant obstacles. The small-scale workshops and craft industries prevalent in the early 19th century were often ill-equipped to handle the demands of mass production. Inventors often faced the daunting task of building their own manufacturing facilities, hiring and training skilled labor, and procuring raw materials, all while managing the financial risks associated with such ventures. This often led to compromises in the quality and consistency of their products, further hindering their ability to compete in the market. The marketing and distribution of inventions also posed significant challenges. The limited transportation networks and communication systems made it difficult for inventors to reach potential customers. Advertising and promotion were still in their infancy, and inventors often had to rely on word of mouth and personal demonstrations to spread awareness of their creations. This made it difficult to build a widespread market for their products, particularly in a vast and geographically dispersed nation like the United States. The societal barriers extended beyond financial and logistical constraints. Many inventors faced ingrained biases and skepticism towards new technologies, particularly from those who feared job displacement or were resistant to change. This often led to resistance from potential customers and even hostility from established industries threatened by new innovations. Overcoming these deeply rooted prejudices required not only technical expertise but also significant social and persuasive skills. The stories of these early American inventors are not just historical anecdotes. They are crucial lessons in resilience, resourcefulness, and the enduring power of the human spirit. Their struggles serve as a stark reminder of the often overlooked challenges inherent in the process of innovation, demonstrating that technological advancement is not solely driven by brilliant ideas, but also by the unwavering determination and perseverance of individuals who dare to dream beyond the limitations of their time. These pioneers, often working in isolation and against significant odds, laid the groundwork for the technological landscape of the modern era, their contributions far exceeding the immediate success or failure of their individual inventions. Their legacies are a testament to the enduring human spirit and the transformative power of ingenuity. The seeds of America's industrial transformation were sown long before the term Industrial Revolution gained currency. The nation's early years, characterized by a predominantly agrarian economy, were slowly but surely giving way to a new era. This shift wasn't a sudden cataclysm, but a gradual, almost imperceptible metamorphosis, driven by a confluence of factors that intertwined and amplified each other's effects. The burgeoning population, fueled by both natural increase and immigration, created a growing demand for goods and services that exceeded the capacity of the traditional agricultural model. This expanding market provided the incentive for investment in new technologies and manufacturing processes. One of the most significant catalysts for this change was the growth of textile manufacturing. The cotton gin, while initially plagued by manufacturing and legal challenges as seen with Eli Whitney's struggles, ultimately revolutionized cotton production. The increased availability of cotton spurred the development of new machinery for spinning and weaving, leading to the rise of textile mills in New England. These mills, initially powered by water, gradually transitioned to steam power, further accelerating production and contributing to the concentration of labor and capital in urban centers. The story of Lowell, Massachusetts, stands as a prime example of this early industrial growth. What was once a quiet agricultural community transformed rapidly into a bustling industrial center, attracting waves of workers, primarily young women from rural areas, to staff the burgeoning textile factories. This Lowell system, as it became known, shaped the early industrial landscape and also brought forth significant social changes. The concentration of workers in urban environments created a new social dynamic, characterized by both opportunity and hardship. Living and working conditions in the mills, while often harsh, were a dramatic improvement for many women escaping the drudgery and limited opportunities of rural life. This shift from rural agriculture to urban industry was not without its tensions. The rapid industrialization created a significant demand for labor, leading to the emergence of a new working class, often subject to long hours, low wages, and dangerous working conditions. The stark contrast between the burgeoning wealth of factory owners and the poverty of many workers fueled social unrest and laid the groundwork for future labor movements. The very fabric of American society was being reshaped, with profound implications for class structures, social hierarchies, and political dynamics. The rise of industrial centers also fueled the growth of supporting industries such as transportation and finance. The demand for efficient and cost-effective means of transporting raw materials and finished goods spurred innovation in transportation technologies. Steamboats, initially met with skepticism as seen in Robert Fulton's case, rapidly transformed river travel, facilitating the movement of goods and people across the nation's waterways. The development of canals and railroads further improved transportation infrastructure, connecting disparate regions and expanding market access. The financial sector also played a critical role in the Industrial Revolution. The increased need for capital investment in factories, machinery, and infrastructure led to the growth of banks and financial institutions. These institutions provided essential financing for industrial enterprises, fueling further expansion and development. The increasing interconnectedness of the American economy, fostered by improvements in transportation and finance, played a crucial role in accelerating industrialization. Regional specialization began to emerge, with certain areas focusing on specific industries. This division of labor led to greater efficiency and overall economic growth, while simultaneously increasing the interdependence of different regions. The burgeoning iron industry, for instance, provided essential materials for the construction of railroads, machinery, and infrastructure projects, creating a symbiotic relationship between different sectors of the economy. The growth of cities was another defining characteristic of the Industrial Revolution. The concentration of factories and jobs in urban centers attracted large numbers of workers, leading to unprecedented population growth in cities like Lowell, New York, Philadelphia, and Boston. This rapid urbanization brought forth both opportunities and challenges. Cities experienced remarkable economic growth and cultural dynamism, but also struggled with problems like overcrowding, sanitation issues, and social inequality. The rise of industrial cities also fostered a new level of social interaction and cultural exchange, as people from diverse backgrounds and regions converged in urban environments. This melting pot of cultures created a vibrant and dynamic society, but also exacerbated social tensions and inequalities. Technological innovation continued to play a central role in this transformation. While the early years were marked by incremental improvements to existing technologies, the pace of innovation accelerated dramatically as the 19th century progressed. The development of interchangeable parts, pioneered by Eli Whitney's work with firearms, had profound implications for manufacturing efficiency and cost reduction. This enabled mass production of standardized components, paving the way for the assembly line and other innovations that would revolutionize manufacturing in subsequent decades. This approach also facilitated repairs and replacements, making machines more reliable and reducing downtime. Further advancements in steam engine technology, improvements in iron and steel production, and the development of new power sources such as electricity laid the foundation for even greater industrial growth in the latter half of the 19th century. These technological breakthroughs, combined with expanding markets, improvements in transportation and finance, and a growing workforce, transformed the American economy and society, ultimately shaping the nation's trajectory as a global industrial powerhouse. The interplay between technological advancements, economic growth, and social changes created a powerful synergy that propelled the Industrial Revolution forward, leaving an indelible mark on the American landscape. This period, characterized by both remarkable progress and significant social upheaval, laid the foundation for the modern industrial world and provides a rich context for understanding the innovations and challenges faced by the inventors featured in the subsequent chapters. The struggles of inventors like Whitney and Fulton, while individual narratives, are embedded within the broader narrative of this profound societal and economic transformation. Their successes and failures are inextricably linked to the evolving technological, economic, and social landscape of 19th century America. The story of the American Industrial Revolution is not just about machines and factories. It's a human story, filled with ambition, struggle, innovation, and the profound and lasting impact of technological progress on society. The burgeoning industrial landscape of the early 19th century was not solely a product of technological innovation. It was inextricably linked to a dynamic and rapidly evolving social and political climate. The nation itself was in a state of flux, expanding westward at an astonishing pace, its population swelling with waves of immigrants seeking new opportunities. This expansion, fueled by manifest destiny and the allure of land ownership, profoundly impacted the development and adoption of new technologies. The need to connect distant settlements, to transport goods across vast distances, and to cultivate the fertile lands of the West created an insatiable demand for improved transportation systems and agricultural machinery. The steam engine, initially a relatively inefficient and unreliable technology, found a crucial role in powering riverboats and, later, locomotives, dramatically shortening travel times and facilitating the movement of people and goods across the nation. The development of the railroad, in particular, spurred unprecedented economic growth and regional integration, transforming the very fabric of American society. The westward movement also fostered innovation in agricultural practices. The vast plains and fertile valleys of the West demanded efficient methods of cultivation, leading to the development and widespread adoption of new farming technologies. The McCormick reaper, for instance, revolutionized wheat harvesting, enabling farmers to cultivate larger tracts of land with significantly fewer laborers. This mechanical marvel, along with other advancements in agricultural technology, significantly increased agricultural output, feeding the growing urban populations and contributing to the nation's overall economic prosperity. The availability of readily available land in the West created a dynamic, albeit often volatile, tension between the agrarian and industrial sectors of the American economy. The expansion of agriculture fueled the demand for industrial products, notably tools, machinery, and transportation systems. The conflict for labor between the rural agricultural sector and the nascent urban industrial sectors also played a major role in shaping labor laws and social movements in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. The demographic transformations of the 19th century were equally pivotal in shaping the technological landscape. The rapid population growth, fueled by both high birth rates and massive immigration from Europe, created a massive demand for goods and services. This burgeoning market provided the incentive for investment in new technologies and manufacturing processes, creating a feedback loop that accelerated economic growth and further fueled technological innovation. Immigration, while often met with prejudice and discrimination, also injected a vibrant stream of skills and knowledge into the American economy. Many immigrants possessed specialized trades and skills, contributing to the growth of various industries and enriching the nation's cultural diversity. The influx of skilled laborers and entrepreneurs, notably from Germany, Ireland, and Great Britain, was a key factor in the rapid growth of industrial centers like Lowell, Massachusetts, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. However, this rapid growth also produced significant social challenges. The concentration of workers in industrial centers led to overcrowding, poor sanitation, and the emergence of a new class of urban poor. These conditions fueled social unrest and laid the groundwork for the rise of labor movements advocating for better wages, shorter working hours, and improved working conditions. The struggle between labor and capital became a defining feature of the 19th century American experience, shaping political discourse and influencing the development of social reform movements. The rapid urbanization and industrialization led to the formation of new social hierarchies, as wealthy industrialists and entrepreneurs accumulated immense fortunes, while many workers struggled to survive in harsh and often exploitative working environments. The political landscape also played a significant role in fostering technological innovation. The government's policies regarding land grants, tariffs, and patents profoundly impacted the direction and pace of technological development. The system of patents, while often imperfect and subject to abuse, provided inventors with a degree of protection for their creations, incentivizing innovation and encouraging investment in new technologies. Government funding for infrastructure projects, such as canals and railroads, played a crucial role in connecting different regions and facilitating the expansion of the market. The evolving political and social norms of the period influenced the types of technologies that were developed and adopted. The growing emphasis on efficiency, productivity, and mass production shaped the development of new manufacturing processes and technologies, such as the assembly line and interchangeable parts. The increasing demand for faster communication fueled the development of the telegraph and, later, the telephone, shrinking geographical distances and accelerating the flow of information. The interconnectedness of the different regions of the United States also played a vital role. The development of better transportation infrastructure, such as canals and railroads, facilitated the exchange of goods and ideas between different regions. This increased interaction led to the specialization of industries and the emergence of regional economic hubs. The Northeast, for instance, became a center for textile manufacturing, while the Midwest focused on agriculture and the South initially on cotton production. This regional specialization increased the efficiency of the economy as a whole, but it also led to economic imbalances and regional disparities. The 19th century saw a dramatic increase in the pace of technological innovation. This was not simply a matter of isolated inventions, but rather a complex interplay of factors, including social and political forces, economic incentives, and scientific advancements. The social and political climate, while often turbulent and characterized by significant inequalities, provided the fertile ground in which technological innovation flourished. The expansion of the nation, the influx of immigrants, and the growth of cities all created a dynamic environment that spurred the development and adoption of new technologies. The interplay between technological progress and social change was a defining characteristic of the era, shaping not only the economy, but also the very fabric of American society. This period laid the groundwork for the nation's emergence as a global industrial powerhouse and established many of the technological and societal patterns that would define the 20th century and beyond. The challenges and triumphs of this era serve as a compelling reminder of the complex relationship between technology, society, and the human spirit. The story of American ingenuity is not simply a narrative of inventions and innovations, but a multifaceted chronicle of ambition, struggle, and the enduring human capacity for adaptation and progress in the face of constant change.